Hey guys, today with First Place Auto Parts. You know, I love American muscle cars. We do a lot with them on this YouTube channel. We also sell a lot of parts for them at First Place Auto Parts. But the thing that I love better than a muscle car, don't tell anybody, but it's a muscle truck. Look, a muscle truck, it makes no sense. Look, why would you want to go super fast in a pickup truck? And I'll say because you can. Look, muscle trucks, guys, they dot the landscape as little beacons of hope. Maybe you want to go fast and you want to haul something too, or maybe you just want something that flies in the face of conventional wisdom. The trucks did it. In today's video, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the trucks that are made over the past couple of decades that have really led the way, not only in technology, but also horsepower and speed. So guys, today's video, we're going to be talking about muscle trucks, and I think you might find one on this list that you like as well. Hey guys, if you like today's video, please consider subscribing to the First Place Auto Parts YouTube channel. We're going to continually be adding new videos every week where we show you how to put new parts on. We take a look at the latest parts that are available, and we go to some pretty cool car guy stuff I'm pretty sure you're going to want to see. So muscle trucks, there's a couple of them that really dot the landscape in my mind. And the first one that I really consider to be outlandish, and like it wasn't just a motor, it was a total package. It was in 1978 when Dodge unleashed the Little Red Express to the buying public. Like this right about on time in 78 when horsepower had taken a real dive. Vehicles were boring to drive, and what Dodge did, they unleashed a series of adult toys, they called it, onto the buying public, and the Little Red Express was one of them. Now look, you can't miss the chrome stack, and that was cool, but the thing had a 360 cubic inch motor that was shoved between the front fenders, and that motor was special as well. You have to remember 1978, everything was huffing through about 8.5 to 1 compression ratio, and a 2-barrel carburetor was choked down. Not the Little Red Express, guys. The Little Red Express had a 360 cubic inch motor in it, and it also had a police spec cam, which included lighter retainers, better valve springs. It also had a windage tray, aluminum intake manifold, but it also had a 4-barrel carburetor and freer flowing heads. Look, this was a factory hot rod by any stretch of the imagination. It looked the part in its bright red paint and its wheels that were mags, but also those chrome exhaust stacks, guys. There's nothing quite like it. Like today we see the diesel boys running around with a big fat stack out of the back, but the Little Red Express, it was one of the originators of that whole look. And the Little Red Express, it wasn't just an engine and a sticker package either. It got a 9.25 inch rear end with really stout 355 gears. It even had what we would call a Saturday night special torque converter nowadays with a 2500 RPM stall. Look, by 1979 the party was over, and the camshafts was converted back to a standard 360 camshaft, and it also got catalytic converters, which really slowed the truck down. But that truck in 1978 was clocked in the quarter mile at 14.7 seconds, which makes it faster than just about anything, including the Corvette in 1978, and it was all done by the Little Red Express. Then 11 years later, GM decided to get in the party, and what they took was a lightest truck, which was a 2-wheel drive 1500 short bed, and they dropped a 454 cubic inch motor in it, better known as the SS454. Look, you could have this truck in any color as long as it was black, and it had the really cool SS454 stripes on the back of the bed. Guys, I was around, I was driving when this thing came out, and I wanted one so badly. The reality was, it only had like 7.5 to 1 compression ratio, made 230 horsepower, but it cranked out 385 foot-pounds of torque, which again, for 1990, this was pretty stout performance. But it was just a beautiful truck. The chrome factory mags, the black paint, the thing looked super cool, and it held up the performance image as well. And then if it wasn't good enough to have the 454 and a short bed pickup truck, in 1991, the wizards at GM in the engineering department whipped up some more horsepower. Look, horsepower went up to 255 horsepower and 405 foot-pounds of torque in 1991. Not only that, but they shortened the rear gear to a 410. And they also went with an automatic overdrive and a 4L80E. Look, the first transmission was a turbo 400, only had 3 gears. Now with the overdrive, you would think that maybe gas mileage increased a little bit, but it didn't. All it did was make it easier to do a massive burnout with those 410 gears and that new found torque. Look, the thing got 10, or was rated at 10 miles per gallon in the city, 11 miles per gallon on the highway. Not a big difference. But the thing would run 0 to 60 in under 8 seconds, and in 1991, that was good enough to be king of the hill. And it was after the SS454 that a company called Buick, and hopefully you still remember Buick, had a car called the Grand National. And look, they had a really stout turbocharged V6, and it propelled the car down the quarter mile at a rapid rate. It was a lot of fun to drive. The GMC, look, they wanted a performance truck as well, and what they came up with was called the Cyclone. And the Cyclone, an interesting thing about the name was that Ford actually owned the patent rights or the copyrights to the name Cyclone, spelled with a C, which is why the GMC Cyclone is spelled with an S, to get around that. Guys, if you've never done it, there's nothing quite like foot braking a turbo Cyclone, releasing the brake and rocket down the drag strip. Look, it's unlike anything. It's like being shoved in the back really hard for a quarter mile. It never stops building boost. And the Cyclone truck itself, look, that thing was beautiful. It was low, it was sleek. It had very distinctive wheels and even a small body kit in the bottom. It was distinctively different, distinctively American, and very distinctively fast. The 3,500-pound Cyclone would rip down the quarter mile in mid-13 seconds. Look, this thing made 280 horsepower and made over 360 foot-pounds of torque. Up until recently, until the last couple of years, the Cyclone was still the fastest accelerating pickup truck ever made, and it absolutely deserves a place on this list. Look, things were starting to change. Fuel economy was starting to become more of an issue. That 454 and that SS 454 truck, it gobbled up too much fuel. The Cyclone, it did a better job at it, and at the time, the Cyclone was the fastest thing on the streets. And then in 1993, the Ford guys, they've been sitting on the sidelines for a long time, decided to get in the game, and the boys from Dearborn did it with both feet. That's when the Ford Lightning came out. They kept the same package of the other muscle car vehicles, which was small truck, big engine. What Ford did was they took the 351 Windsor block and stuffed it into the engine. And not only that, but they added a lot of cool performance stuff like a hotter camshaft, hyper-eutectic pistons, and free-flowing GT40 heads. This thing screamed for a vehicle in 1993, and it was one of the quicker vehicles to come out that year. Look, this thing would run a 14.7 seconds to 0 to 60 and had 110 mile an hour top speed. Look, it was a bullet, but it was a non-aerodynamic bullet, which helped slow down the truck a little bit at top speed, but it was one of the fastest things off the dealer floors in 1993. And it absolutely belongs on this list. And it was cool because you could see these things coming from a mile away. They were offering a bunch of different colors and they had very unique wheels. And I remember getting smoked by one of these things in a 1983 Trans Am. Now look, I thought my 83 Trans Am was quick, but it wasn't. I got beat by a pickup truck. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the pickup truck even had a toolbox in the back, and that was cool. Ford has come out with some different things like the Raptor, which has much more performance. But in 1993, Ford stepped in the muscle truck game with the Ford Lightning. And those crazy geniuses over at Dodge in 2003 decided to unrelease the SRT10 on the buying public, and quite honestly, we didn't know what to make of it because what it had in the engine bay in between those front fenders was nothing short of 8.3 liters of V10 Viper motor. And what's super cool is if you got the standard cab truck version of the SRT10, you could get that thing with a manual transmission, nothing short of the T56, which was out of the Viper as well. Look, the thing made 500 horsepower and it made all of its power between 1,500 and roughly 5,600 RPMs. This was a grunny motor. You could short shift it and go amazingly quick. The thing would run in the mid 13-second quarter miles at 106 miles an hour, and it could also pull a load. It was a neat truck. It was very unique. You get a lot of different colors, high impact colors, and the wheels, God, they were just nothing short of beautiful. As a matter of fact, I had put a set on my standard Ram just so it could look like that because I love that look so much. But the SRT10, it was only with us for 3 years, but when it was here, it was really something to hold. And the values of those things today, they hold strong, guys. The SRT10 holds its value. It's just such a unique truck. It's such an overindulgence with that V10. It's everything I love about the muscle trucks. And the last truck on this list, and it's one that I would desperately love to own. The fact of the matter is, I just can't make it make any sense to my wife. But that is nothing short of the Ram, the TRX. Look, unleashed in 2022, this thing is a supercharged demon motor, making 702 horsepower and 650 foot-pounds of torque, going to all four wheels. This thing screams through the quarter mile at 12.6 seconds and runs 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds. It's got over 18 inches of wheel travel. It's not just a street truck like a lot of the earlier muscle trucks. This thing is actually made to be used or could be used off-road. This is a very multifaceted muscle truck. I would even call it a super truck. Like, I don't know when you get above 700 horsepower what you do with it in the truck. All I know is that mashing that gas pedal has got to be a lot of fun. And the TRX for me, I saw one at the drag strip the other day, and it was pulling the trailer that had the race car on it, and it's absolutely usable as a truck and a daily driver. It's nothing short of amazing, and they're very unique looking, and they have a lot of neat underpinning changes such as reinforced frames and all that wheel travel, and they come with 35-inch tires that just make them really something out of this world. I don't know what you do to top the TRX, to be honest with you. We are truly living in the best of times when it comes to trucks. There's a new Raptor coming out that's going to be even more competitive with the TRX, and who knows what the future looks like until the insurance companies get wise to how much horsepower these things are making and how truly fast they are. Muscle trucks are here to stay. But the reality is, muscle trucks, God love them. They're purely American. No offense to the foreign folks who might be watching this video, or the Europeans. Look, you guys got some pretty fast SUVs and station wagons. America, we got fast trucks and we love them. Guys, I appreciate you watching this video, and anytime you need parts for your American muscle car or your American muscle truck, please check us out at First Place Auto Parts. It's simple to use, always open at fbautoparts.com. Guys, until next time, keep the hammer down and keep it between the guardrails.